Hi folks, this is Tony for the A Minute to Midnight show. I've got a video here today for you which I think has some important information. In fact, I was quite mind blown, had my eyes opened by some of what I discovered while researching for this. Revelation 13 and verse 2 tells us that the dragon gives his power, his seat and his great authority to the beast. It also tells us in verse 4 that they worshipped the dragon who gave power to the beast. And in verse 15, he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. The technology is in existence today, such as artificial intelligence, robotics and other things, to create the image of the beast and give it life. And there is a smart city that is being developed today, which I think may be the largest undertaking since the Tower of Babel in the history of the world, and that is what I want to show you today. That city is called Neom, and it is in Saudi Arabia. Now let's take a look at this futuristic city called Neom, which I think is about as New World Order as it gets. In fact, it could end up being potentially the centre of the New World Order, where we can live the future as we create the future, unrivaled in concept, unmatched in intelligence, unconstrained by history, and built on humanity's greatest resource, imagination. Neom is a new kind of tomorrow in the making, a place on Earth like nothing on Earth, a new blueprint for sustainable life on a scale never seen before, where inventiveness shapes a new, inspiring era for human civilization. Neom will operate as an independent economic zone with its own laws, taxes and regulations specially created to boost healthy growth and wealth for the region, investors and residents.
With energy that flows from the sun and wind, neighborhoods that can feed and clean themselves, technologies that make life everything it can be. This is where we can prepare together for the next era of human progress.
Klaus Kleinfeld, the former chairman and chief executive officer of Siemens AG and Alcoa Incorporated, was appointed to lead the development of Neom. And this is set to be huge, folks. The special zone will be established in the northwestern region of Saudi Arabia and is set to include territory from within the Egyptian and Jordanian borders, and to comprise a total area of 26,500 kilometres. And phase 1 of this is due to be completed in 2025. And this place is set to be basically swimming with robots and artificial intelligence. I want to read you something here. It says, "We want the main robot and the first robot in Neom to be Neom Robot Number 1, the Crown Prince said in an interview in a palatial setting next to the Ritz-Carlton in Riyadh. Everything will have a link with artificial intelligence, with the Internet of Things. Everything." The Saudi Vision 2030 is underpinned by the creation of the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, an estimated $2 trillion pot of assets that will drive investment and create jobs. The fund has already committed $20 billion to an infrastructure investment fund with Blackstone Group LP, and as much as $45 billion for a technology fund run by SoftBank. And by the way, folks, the chairman of the Blackstone Group is Stephen Schwarzman, who is a longtime friend of President Donald Trump, and in fact, he chaired President Donald Trump's Strategic and Foreign Policy Forum.
Over 25,000 square kilometers of inspiration, with room for your biggest ideas. A part of the world set aside for those who want to change the world. A land created to free people from stress. A place where pioneers and thinkers and doers can exchange ideas and get things done. A startup the size of a country that will change the way we live and work forever. Healthier, happier, with more time for the things that really matter. A truly global culture from every place and background you can imagine that can show the rest of the planet how it's done.
Our friend Mike from On Point Preparedness made a short video which is excellent a few weeks ago. I'm going to play just a small section of it and I'm sure Mike won't mind, and you will see why I think this is significant in relationship to Neom and also to the whole agendas of the New World Order.
Even the two-finger salute, the sign of benediction, which is uniquely Catholic. I've talked about this in other videos, but I've found some additional information from a friend in one of my Facebook groups. This actually dates back to the Babylonian, Assyrian, and Egyptians. Serapis, or Jupiter Serapis, the Egyptian divinity whose bust is placed upon the mons Janus of the hand, was chiefly worshipped at Alexandria. So again, not only does it relate to the Baphomet statue, but it also relates to ancient Egypt. And this is, like I said before, uniquely Catholic. It's all over their idols and their sculptures and their paintings.
That painting is a Salvator Mundi or Mundi by Leonardo da Vinci from about 1500, and it shows Jesus in a Renaissance dress giving a benediction with his right hand with those two fingers extended, like Mike pointed out, is also found on that Baphomet statue, and is also in his left hand holding a transparent rock crystal orb. Now I'm going to show you some very interesting correlations between the Salvator Mundi and
Neom.
In the trailer video on discoverneom.com you can see an orb with a upside down city in it, and so there you have it. And also don't forget the glowing orb that Donald Trump placed his hands on along with al-Sisi and the King of Saudi Arabia in 2017. Okay, now going back to the painting, the Salvator Mundi. It was sold at auction by Christie's in New York to Prince Badr bin Abdullah bin Mohammed Al Fahd on behalf of the Abu Dhabi Department of Culture and Tourism on November 15, 2017 for $450.3 million, setting a new record for the most expensive painting ever sold. The painting is to be on display at the Louvre in Abu Dhabi. Okay, now this gets interesting. The prince who supposedly bought the painting on behalf of the Abu Dhabi Department of Culture and Tourism is actually the chairman of Saudi Research and Marketing Group. And, according to the Wall Street Journal, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman was identified as the buyer of the record-breaking Da Vinci painting. US government intelligence and a Middle East artwork figure familiar with the purchase says Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman used a proxy to purchase the 500-year-old Salvator Mundi. Now, I find it extremely interesting that a Muslim prince would spend $450 million to buy a Catholic painting with a rendition of Jesus giving the Catholic benediction and holding an orb in his left hand. Additionally, in light of the fact that I've just shown you that the Baphomet symbol is basically using that same benediction hand sign, now take a look again at the logo for Neom. At first you may not see it, but then it actually becomes obvious when you know what you're looking at that it is, hiding in plain sight, a symbol for Baphomet. Neom is absolutely a globalist's dream, a smart city designed by globalists for globalists. And the chief executive for Neom is Klaus Kleinfeld, who is a member of the Bilderberg Steering Committee, as well as being on the World Economic Forum, and he is a lifetime member of the Council on Foreign Relations. These are all organizations designed to bring about global government and a new world order.
We've had a huge amount of interest and are talking to a lot of companies that are on the forefront of multiple technologies, wanting to partner and wanting to try out things in Neom. What speaks for Neom? I mean, one thing is a beautiful location. It's just wonderful. I was just there last week. We invited the top livability experts from around the world to spend some time in Neom with us to talk about future of livability. And I tell you what, it is as though you come to a place where the mind is at peace. At the same time, you know, we are creating a place where prosperity can be gained through creating a new future there. So on the technological side, a lot of people look at it and say we can try certain things out, and we can try it out without being held back by existing infrastructure, plus being allowed new types of legislation. So we have full legislative authority, and we've been asked by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, write this legislation in the most investor-friendly way and in the most future-oriented way, and this is what's currently happening.
A number of large companies and countries are already looking to be involved in Neom, including the SoftBank Group, which is in Japan and are one of the largest companies in the world and the fourth largest publicly traded company in Japan.
This is fantastic opportunity, as Crown Prince says, because of the leadership, because of the location, because of the people in the kingdom, we can make it happen.
Also, the Russians are looking to get involved in it, calling it perhaps the most ambitious infrastructure project in the history of mankind. This definitely conjures up images of Nimrod and the Tower of Babel in my mind. Saudi Arabia and Egypt set up a $10 billion joint fund in March as well. Discussions are also underway between Saudi Arabia and Jordan as to Jordan's role in Neom. Bin Salman reportedly arranged a series of meetings between top Saudi officials and Israeli counterparts, as well as members of the Egyptian government, according to the Emirati newspaper Khaleej Times. And officially it was to discuss Neom, but also no doubt to talk about the Palestinian peace plan. And however, the fact is that Neom will feature a bridge across the Gulf of Aqaba, as well as hydro-agriculture projects, and this is where Israel comes into the picture, according to the Israeli national news. Klaus Kleinfeld has revealed that a number of construction projects are already underway and likely to be completed by the end of summer of 2018. Saudi Arabia's megacity will most likely allow only electric vehicles to operate within its confines, according to Klaus Kleinfeld. Kleinfeld is also exploring the possibility of how quickly they can bring passenger drones in, and as well as how the city can encourage pedestrian traffic. Palaces for the King, the Crown Prince and other senior royals are among the first contracts that have been awarded for Neom. As I mentioned earlier, Bin Salman had said they want the main robot and the first robot in Neom to be Neom itself. Also, they want everything there to be connected, so no one can live in Neom without the Neom application that they will be given. According to Bin Salman, everything will have a link to artificial intelligence, to the Internet of Things, everything. Your medical file will be connected with your home supply, with your car, linked to your family, linked to your other files, and the system develops itself in how to provide you with better things. Today, all the clouds available are separate, the car is by itself, the Apple Watch is by itself, everything is by itself. There, everything will be connected. Considering that Saudi Arabia has Sophia, the world's first robot citizen, and Bin Salman's desire to connect everything with artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things, I can see the potential for Neom to be the New World Order capital, and possibly even Mystery Babylon itself. Folks, I believe that the uniting of all religions into one big global religion will be one of the hallmarks of the end-time Babylonian system. We see Pope Francis hard at work in the ingathering of everyone towards one religion, so we would expect to see something along those lines, wouldn't we, if Neom had a part to play in the Babylonian system of the end times. Well, I just want to show you here how much Mohammed bin Salman is playing such a role.
We only want to go back to what we were, the moderate Islam that is open to the world, open to all the religions. 70% of the Saudi people are less than 30 years old. And quite frankly, we will not waste 30 years of our lives in dealing with extremist ideas. We will destroy them today. We want to live a normal life, a life that translates our moderate religion, our good customs. We coexist and live with the world and contribute to the development of our country and the world. This is something that there are steps that we have taken in the past that are clear. I believe that we will eradicate the rest of extremism very soon. So I don't think this is a real challenge, because we represent the moderate teachings and principles of Islam, and we have the right. The right is on our side and everything that we deal with. So I don't think that we are concerned.
Thank you, Your Highness.
Mohammed bin Salman started off his UK trip with a visit to the Queen, who hosted the young prince at Buckingham Palace, a sign of just how eager the UK is to bolster its ties with the Saudi kingdom.
Your Royal Highness, very good to meet you indeed. Thank you so much for taking the trouble. Your Excellency.
The Queen is the official head of the Church of England. Mohammed bin Salman met the Queen, met Theresa May, British Prime Minister, and also the Archbishop of Canterbury, who is the head under the Queen of the Anglican Church, and a whole lot of other Anglican officials. The Crown Prince also met in Cairo with the Coptic Pope, the head of the Coptic Church in Egypt recently. While on a 3-week tour of the US, the Crown Prince also met with 2 Roman Catholic and 3 Jewish figures. The meeting emphasised the common bond among all people, particularly people of faith, which stresses the importance of tolerance, coexistence, and working together for a better future of all humanity, the embassy said. Although Prince Mohammed had recently met Christian figures, it marks the first time he's announced a meeting with our Jewish religious leader. Prince Mohammed's meeting included Rabbi Richard Jacobs, president of the Union for Reform Judaism, Rabbi Stephen Wernick, head of the United Synagogue of Conservative Judaism, and Alan Fagan, executive vice president of the Orthodox Union, the embassy said. Now, it's not only Mohammed bin Salman that's been at work doing this, but also the king, his father. Saudi Arabia's King Salman met with the chairman of the Pontifical Council for Interfaith Dialogue at the Vatican, Cardinal Jean-Louis Touran, and his accompanying delegation. During the meeting, they stressed the important role of followers of religions and cultures in renouncing violence, extremism, terrorism, and achieving worldwide security and stability. Sounds like great New World Order goals, doesn't it? Touran was hosted by Riyadh-based Global Centre for Combating Extremist Ideology, or ETIDAL, which showed its work in combating extremist ideology. ETIDAL, Arabic for moderation, is an effort by the international community to expose, combat and refute extremist ideology. The centre was established in 2017 and located in Riyadh, the cooperative effort of more than 55 countries. The centre operates mainly around 3 pivots: ideology, technology and media. And it uses these to disrupt extremist recruitment and promote tolerance and coexistence among different religions and cultures. ETIDAL has designed machine learning systems and algorithms to detect violent and extremist online content, We analyse this content and then anticipate how extremist groups use this content to recruit vulnerable audiences. To counter these efforts, we devise strategic programs and projects that encourage tolerance and moderation. Following the visit, Cardinal Turan commented, "It's important to see that Etadil has a mission and a vision. The centre is very wise to analyse the causes of extremism. Most of the time, extremism is provoked by injustice." Yeah, that sounds like an excellent advertisement for Pope Francis. That's what he would say, wouldn't he? Turan is seen as an energetic promoter of dialogue between the Roman Catholic Church and Islam. Surprise, surprise. Now back to the glowing orb and Donald Trump. The reason he was there putting his hands on that orb was because he was there at the inaugural opening of the Global Centre for Combating Extremist Ideology on the 21st of May 2017. And the Saudis were given basically NSA type powers to spy on people on the internet.
We've become very good friends over a fairly short period of time. I was in Saudi Arabia in May.
Also, bin Salman visited the White House recently, and Saudi Arabia has negotiated with the US a massive deal to have arms and military equipment supplied to Saudi Arabia in the next few years.
We're getting a $700 billion military proposal, and that's even a lot for you guys. So it's a great honor to have you and your representatives here. Crown Prince, thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, the relation between Saudi Arabia and the rest of America, it's an old relation. We are the oldest ally of the rest of America and the Middle East.
Right.
And more opportunities, and that's why we are here today, to be sure that we've tackled all the opportunities and achieve it, and also get rid of all the threats facing our both countries and the whole world. So I'm very glad to be here today.
Well, that's right. And you know, one thing that you have been really focused on is the terrorism threat and the funding of terrorism. And whether it's Saudi Arabia or other countries, as we know, there will be no funding. We have a zero tolerance for the funding of terrorists. And we're working very hard, and I will say that Saudi Arabia has been working very hard on that, as are certain other countries in the Middle East. When I was there in May, I think it was one of the most incredible two-day meetings that I've ever seen, that anybody's ever seen. It was an amazing two-day period. We had 56 countries. We had, everybody was there, at the head of every country. Virtually, I guess, in every case, it was the head of the country. And we talked about terrorism and the funding of terrorism, and it will not be allowed. It will not be allowed. That would be the one thing that would end the relationship with any country.
According to a very interesting article in the New Yorker, shortly after the inauguration of Trump, it was Jared Kushner who began advocating a new outreach to Saudi Arabia. And in his plan, Trump would visit Riyadh for a summit of 55 Muslim-majority countries. And Jared was the engine for all this, a former defense official said. As Kushner grappled with the complexities of Middle East politics, he and Mohammed bin Salman began a conversation by telephone and email. They became very close fast, a former American official who sees Mohammed bin Salman periodically said. They see the world in the same way. They see themselves as being in the tech-savvy money world. Kushner followed up with a visit to Riyadh, the first of 3 such trips. The two men stayed up nearly until dawn discussing the future of their countries, according to this article in the New Yorker from the 9th of April. MBS gives the impression of being comfortable with Western Moors. In meetings with American women, he shakes their hands and looks them in the eye, which not every Saudi official will do. He has a lot of charisma. He's a lot like Bill Clinton. He makes you feel like you're super important when you're talking to him. He really puts on a charm that is unmistakable, continues that article. Bin Salman devised a plan called Vision 2030 for a vast transformation of the Saudi economy, and he basically visited China, Russia, the US, where he met with an array of tech executives including Mark Zuckerberg. At a gathering of prominent venture capitalists in Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco, MBS spoke bluntly about Saudi Arabia's prospects. According to one attendee, he said, "In 20 years, oil goes to zero and then renewables take over. I have 20 years to reorient my country and launch it into the future." Revelation 17:18 says, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth." Now, I'm not saying that Neom is it, but I think it deserves close watching, and put that in your basket of possibilities. Don't discount it. And don't discount Jared Kushner and the Pope, of course, and also Mohammed bin Salman as big players in the end times. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like it, and also visit aminutetomidnight.com, and we run A Minute to Midnight entirely by donations, and we'd really appreciate your help. If you can help us out with donations, that'd be awesome. Cheers, we'll catch you again soon.